What do you think? Who's going to win? Say it. Say boxer shit. Say boxer shit. Go on. Welcome to the All Things Rugby preview of round 4 of the Rugby Championship. My name's Shanair, and hopefully South Africa will lose again this week. So, Rassie gave us the team on Monday. You have to wonder with Rassie whether he'd already preempted what team he was going to be picking this week, and if that defeat last week made any changes to it. That backline could give the Blitzboks a run for their money. What a sevens team they would be. With Sasha in the 10 jersey, Willemse outside him, and Fassi at the back, I cannot see any kicking being done by this Springboks team. We spoke about how the Boks lacked a little bit of punch up front last week, but this week in the backs, there's no real centre there. We've seen Willemse play both 10 and 15, Ethan Hooker's on the wing, we've seen Moody play on the wing most of the time, and outside of that, Colby and Fassi, we can't really see him trucking it up. And even on the bench, we've seen Esterhazen slot in at the flank and pack down in the scrum. Is that a 6-2 bench, or are we just looking at a 5.5? With no Ebenezer, with no Andre Pollard, with no D'Alanda and no Jesse Krill, this Boks team is lacking some real experience. What they did lack last week, though, hopefully will be improved this week with the return of Jasper Wiese, coming back from a 4-match ban. With Wiese back in the 8 jersey, Khaleesi moves back into the number 6, and Luke Diago will be partnered by Ryan Nochia in the engine room. The All Blacks, on the other hand, were forced to make a couple of changes for this week in Wellington. Narrawai getting injured and going off early last week means that Damien McKenzie will start in the fullback jersey, with Will Jordan starting on one wing. On the other wing, Sevens superstar Leroy Carter will be making his debut for New Zealand. The other change in the backs sees Noah Hotham get a start for the All Blacks, with Finlay Christie on the bench, who, to be honest, didn't do a bad job last week. And with D-Mac starting, Ruben Love comes onto the bench to wear the number 23 jersey. Up front, we have Takiaho starting at hooker, with Cody Taylor failing his HIA last week. Could we be looking at the same result this week? To be honest, I can't call this one. If I was to look at the teams and think of a game plan, I can't really see New Zealand kicking to them backs of South Africa, with every one of those being able to run it back. I think this week will be a lot tighter, with it coming down to those last 20 minutes. And when we look on the bench, that's where South Africa take the upper hand. Being able to bring on 130 plus kilos of Wilco Low will secure that scrum in the second half. And of course, the Viking returns to the bench, with Schneiman being able to come on and add a little bit of offload magic. We see a couple of changes in the other game as well this week, with Australia ringing in the changes as they look to do the double over Argentina. In the second row, Jeremy Williams comes in to partner with Tom Hooper. It was a questionable call last week to start Tom Liner at number 10 instead of James O'Connor. And with Liner being injured this week, Joe Schmidt's gone for Tane Edmed instead. I suppose, with O'Connor on the bench, if it does get tight towards the end like it did last week, O'Connor can come on with that cool head and really smooth things out. A big change in midfield for the Wallabies this week, though, as Hunter Paisami returns to replace Lenny Cattell. We've seen how destructive Paisami can be with the ball in the past, and him with Suali'i should be a dangerous midfield. For the Pumas, they'll be looking to bite back big time this week. No doubt the Pumas will be hurting from last week, letting that lead slip away, and they've made a few changes themselves this time around. Pablo Matera drops to the bench, with Oviedo starting at number 8, and returning to the wing, Harlequins legend Rodrigo Isco. Knowing how gutted they would have been with that loss last week, I think we're going to see a big Pumas performance, and I'm backing them for the win this week. If the Pumas manage to pull it off and South Africa manage to get their points on the board, again, we could be going into round 5 with all teams on 2 wins. Make sure you stay tuned to the All Things Rugby socials, as I'll be giving some live match reactions after the games on Saturday. My name's Shanair, and thank you for tuning in to All Things Rugby.